There's an image everyone recognizes, even people who've never opened a history book. A defeated warrior kneels in silence. A blade goes into the stomach. He dies slowly, tragically, honorably. It's one of the most iconic images of Japan that Western pop culture has ever produced. And almost none of it happened the way the movies show it. Start with the word itself. Harakiri and seppuku are the exact same two characters, it's just a different reading of them. Harakiri is the blunt, spoken version, literally, cutting the belly. Seppuku is the formal reading, the one you'll find in almost every serious historical record. Western films picked up the casual street version and ran with it for a century. It's a small detail, but it says something about how this whole practice got filtered through outsiders before it ever reached a movie screen. Here's the bigger misconception, though: people assumed this was some spontaneous act of shame, a warrior losing control in a moment of despair, alone, on the battlefield. In reality, formal seppuku was one of the most rigidly scripted procedures in samurai society. There was a prescribed setting, prescribed clothing, an exact seating position. And in the most formal cases, official witnesses whose entire job was to confirm the ritual was carried out correctly. This wasn't a breakdown. It was closer to a legal ceremony. And that ceremony had a detail that almost never makes it into fiction: the warrior rarely died from the cut itself. A wound to the abdomen doesn't kill quickly; left alone, it causes hours of agony. So formal seppuku almost always involved a second man standing just behind the warrior, the kaishikunin, a trusted friend or fellow retainer, sword already drawn. The instant the cut was made, sometimes even before it was finished, the kaishikunin delivered one fast strike to end it immediately. The entire function of this role was mercy. Not spectacle, not brutality. Mercy, formalized into a job. Then there's the question of whether it was ever really a choice. Sometimes, yes. But just as often, seppuku was a court-ordered sentence, a formal execution dressed in the language of honor. You probably already know the most famous example without realizing it: the 47 Ronin. After avenging their lord's death, all 47 were sentenced by the shogunate to commit seppuku. That wasn't a personal decision made in grief. That was the state's method of executing a man of samurai rank, a way to let him die with his status intact, instead of being killed like an ordinary criminal. Battlefield defeat, the version everyone pictures by default, was actually just one category among several. There was junsher, a retainer following his lord into death after the lord died, purely out of loyalty. There was kanshi, a protest suicide, carried out specifically to shame a lord into reversing a decision the retainer believed was wrong. And there was the judicial version, the one that ended the 47 Ronin story. Defeat in battle was, if anything, one of the less common triggers, not the default Hollywood assumes. And the ritual didn't stay frozen in time either. By the later Edo period, actual warfare had mostly disappeared, and the samurai class had become far more bureaucratic than military. The ceremony evolved with it. In many later cases, the blade placed in front of the condemned man was purely symbolic; sometimes it was literally a folding fan. The kaishikunin strike came the instant the man reached for it. No cut was ever actually made. By that point, the form and dignity of the ritual mattered more than the physical act itself. What's genuinely strange, once you dig into it, is how bureaucratic the whole thing became. A ritual built around honor and death eventually turned into paperwork. Witnesses, prescribed seating, a symbolic fan instead of a blade. Hollywood kept the tragedy. It dropped the part that's actually the most fascinating. That even dying was, for a samurai, something the state could regulate down to the smallest formal detail. If you want more videos that go past the Hollywood version of samurai history and into what actually happened, make sure you're subscribed. This channel is just getting started on the real story of Sengoku Japan.